Xbox just proved they're the best. Here's what it means for the future. What is up, y'all? I'm Ray, and this is my channel, Xbox Ready, where we get on and we talk about Xbox stuff, the latest news, rumors, games, accessories, pretty much anything I want to talk about as long as it's about Xbox in some way. Towards the beginning of this generation, Xbox had a certain reputation when it came to how their games look, how they run. Anyone remember Craig the Brute, that trailer of Halo Infinite that came out, what? It would have been like 2019, 2020 at this point. Craig was looking crazy. And then, of course, Redfall comes out. It's horribly optimized, runs like doggy doo-doo out the gate. Didn't even support 60 FPS on consoles when it launched. And then, of course, we had Starfield NPCs looking like Starfield NPCs. Unfortunately, for many out there, that perception of Xbox games having a certain look to them, having a certain jank to them, that's persisted. Xbox is known for making games like this, where PlayStation is known for making beautiful masterpieces like this. Everyone freaks out when a game runs slightly better on the PlayStation 5 or the PS5 Pro over the Series X and S. Damn, I remember when Hi-Fi Rush came out on PlayStation, so many people were making a big deal out of, oh, the shadows look way better on the way a game looks, the way it runs. Still very important to gamers, especially with the high expectations we had going into this generation. But my friends, all of those games that I was talking about, Halo Infinite, Redfall, Starfield, that's old news at this point. Xbox has really turned it around when it comes to how their games run and how they look. They've been producing some great looking games. There are a few outliers out there. I wasn't liking the way that Avowed was looking. It just seems off and weird to me. But in general, Xbox Game Studios have really stepped up in delivering us gorgeous looking games that run really well, whether it's on the Series S, X, or PC. So much so that Digital Foundry, these dudes who make their whole living examining the minute details and frames and imperfections of every game that comes out, went ahead and named their #1 best looking game of 2025, Doom: The Dark Ages. They were especially impressed with the full ray trace global illumination model that was able to scale all the way down to hardware like the Series S, while still maintaining a consistent frame rate. It's really cool to see the Digital Foundry team mentioning the Series S when it comes to their analysis of Doom: The Dark Ages. Xbox got a lot of flack for even making this thing in the first place. And yes, there have been many times when the Series S has struggled, especially with third-party games. But in a weird way, it's also set up Xbox Game Studios for success heading into 2026 and beyond, because they spent years at this point optimizing games for different levels of hardware, different power levels, whether it's a Series X, S, Xbox One consoles, and a million different PC configurations that are out there. And in a world that is content to pump out horribly unoptimized, terrible looking games and then say, we'll fix it later, that experience is going to serve them very well, especially when they work to ship games like Fable, Gears E-Day, and Halo Campaign Evolved. And Doom: The Dark Ages is the perfect example of that. It looks great on the Series X. It looks great on these Razer laptops I was checking out at Summer Games Fest. Seriously, it was blowing my mind. It looks pretty good on the Series S, and it looks good on my Xbox Ally X, except when I dock that thing. For some reason, all of that just goes out the window. No one can really do it like them when it comes to porting their games to other platforms and making sure they run good. Like when PlayStation makes a PC port of one of their games, you know it's going to have a little bit of jank, at least for a little bit. Xbox is way ahead of the curve when it comes to that. This video is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Online privacy and security is more important now than ever before, because the internet, whether we like it or not, is part of pretty much everyone's lives. With a click of a button, ExpressVPN reroutes 100% of your internet traffic through secure servers, giving you that extra layer of security so people won't be able to get at your private data so easily. The realization hit me the other day because I've been doing a lot of traveling, I've been doing a lot of editing and work in airports and coffee shops and bars, corresponding with other creators and my PR contacts, and it hit me, I'm like, I have a lot of embargoed and sensitive information on this laptop. If someone were to come in and just like hack my connection and steal all that, I could be in a lot of trouble. So now when I go out and do work in public, I make sure that I have ExpressVPN rerouting my location to a different IP address. ExpressVPN also unlocks the true potential of your streaming services. I got a haircut the other day and I was talking to my barber about anime and he was talking about Dragon Ball Super. And I was like, oh yeah, we haven't seen Broly around. They haven't really brought him back. You know what? I really want to watch Dragon Ball Super Broly, except it's not on the Netflix library in the US. With ExpressVPN, no problem, because I can just change my location to somewhere that does have it in the library and I can watch it no extra charge. If you want to check it out for yourself, go on over to their website or scan this QR code to find out how you can get up to 4 extra months free. Thanks again to our sponsor, ExpressVPN. Now, when I played through Doom: The Dark Ages, I played on my Series X, and I agree, it was seriously impressive. And for Xbox fans who are serious about graphics and performance, this is only the beginning. It's only going to get better from here on out. And here's why. Pretty soon, these developers are going to have an even higher target to optimize their games for with Project Magnus, this thing that is prepping to be like this ultra beast mode freaking console. Everything that we're hearing about this thing is that it's going to be a seriously powerful and impressive bit of hardware. And if Xbox is winning awards for how good their games look now, imagine what they can do with the most powerful console on the market. The leaked specs for Project Magnus have it being significantly more powerful than our Series X or PS5 consoles, and from what we're seeing, it's going to be even more powerful than the PlayStation 6. Some estimates have the amount of RAM that this thing is going to have access to as more than double what we have on the Series X. And it's going to have a neural processing unit to handle AI upscaling and other AI-related tasks. And while right now we're not really sure what role AI is going to be playing in terms of how it's going to affect our games, how they look, it seems that Xbox and their teams, they're pretty optimistic about it, considering they went out of their way to put one of these things in the Xbox Ally X. When it comes to that NPU, the one in the Xbox Ally X, owners are going to be seeing the benefits of that as early as next year when it comes to upscaling their games. So while I was just talking about, oh, Xbox is really good at optimizing their games, at least their first-party stuff, to run on a variety of hardware. Some of these games from third-party studios, I'm thinking of a game like Monster Hunter Wilds, will still look and run really well thanks to these NPUs, even if they're not optimized. If Project Magnus is everything that we're hoping it's gonna be, it'll be the de facto way that you'll want to play games if you're serious about graphics, outside of building your own super powerful PC. I'm talking like amongst the pre-built and console markets. Like imagine the Elder Scrolls 6 running on this thing. It's gonna be fucking sick. Correction, it better be sick, because there's a ton of hype already surrounding the Elder Scrolls 6, and Microsoft has spent months gassing up Project Magnus and how technologically advanced it's gonna be. Now, of course, we should operate under the assumption that the Elder Scrolls 6 is gonna be a cross-gen title. It's still gonna come out on the Xbox Series X and S. We'll get more into that later. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what the team at Bethesda is gonna do with the next installment of the Elder Scrolls, this thing that we've been waiting for over half a decade at this point since they revealed it. Game Informer just talked to some people at Bethesda regarding the development of the Elder Scrolls 6, and they really couldn't say much. It doesn't sound like they're super far along, despite the fact that it's been 6 years since they revealed that teaser for it. But overall, they sound optimistic. It's a lot of like, wow, if we just had this technology and these tools back in the day when we were making Skyrim, it would have been so much better. I doubt that the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be a launch title for Project Magnus or the next-gen Xbox. No matter what people say, it just doesn't sound like, from what Todd Howard and his team is saying, that they're that far along. But when it does finally come out, Project Magnus will be the best way to experience it. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it kind of feels like Bethesda has something to prove. Obviously, their track record back in the day, undeniable, right? Morrowind, Oblivion, the Fallout games, Skyrim. But over the past decade, it seems like the people just don't trust them as much anymore. And sure, a lot has changed since they released Skyrim, since they released Fallout 4, and that's evident in the fact that, well, Starfield came out and people were like, people expect a lot more from their role-playing games. They have a high standard for immersion and NPCs, and performance is another thing that people really want. We've been talking this whole video about how Xbox is really good at delivering games out the gate that are optimized, that run well, except obviously for Bethesda, like the main Bethesda studio. I'm not talking about id, who did Doom: The Dark Ages, or Machine Games that did Indiana Jones, but like just straight up Bethesda. I mean, we're a year on and people are still having bugs and troubles with the Oblivion remaster. Series X and S owners, you don't need to fret though. You don't need to worry about being left behind or studios not supporting your consoles anymore. I mean, look how long people were making games for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. And like I was just saying, these studios are used to making an Xbox Series X, S, and PC version of their game. So these Gen 9 consoles are going to be supported well into the future, even as they transition into a more PC-like console. The issue is, yes, all of that sounds good. Amazing graphics, optimized games right out the gate, the most powerful console, the most powerful Xbox. Where have we heard that before? The problem is that we're gonna be paying for it. From everything we're hearing, it will probably be hovering around $1,000. And while I still think there is a possibility that they'll come out with something like they did with the Series S or just the regular Xbox Ally, like a lesser powered unit or console, there haven't been any leaks for that. So we just have to hope. And while yes, 24, 32, 48 gigs of usable RAM, that sounds awesome, but we are in the middle of a RAM shortage right now. DRAM, VRAM, storage, everything is going up in price, and already it's affecting other platform holders like Nintendo, making this arguably one of the worst times to come out with a powerful pre-built PC console hybrid. And the bad thing is that no one really knows when it's gonna end, this shortage. Every tech company is investing a butt ton of money into AI. There are only a couple of manufacturers that even make usable RAM that we can have in consumer products. And there's a big question of, are they gonna ramp up production to meet this demand? I mean, probably not, because they know that these companies are gonna pay the increased prices anyway. So why would they just create an artificial shortage? Profit. Like, when are these companies gonna realize that we don't actually want this? Microsoft apparently scaled back their AI goals because they realized no one is using Copilot. Of course, people are using ChatGPT, Gemini, and Microsoft forcing Copilot on literally everything. Like, I opened up my game bar on my Xbox Ally and Copilot is there. No one wants this. If Nintendo is seeing a 47% price increase in their DRAM that they use for the Switch 2, I don't even want to begin to think what it's going to do to the prices of the PlayStation 6 and Project Magnus. Here's the other problem that's on my mind. Games keep skipping the Xbox platform. So you can pump out an ultra powerful console, whatever form factor it's in, whether it's a handheld, PC console hybrid, something in between. Super cool hardware where games look freaking incredible. None of that's going to matter if there are no games on there. Or less games on there, I should say. We've been seeing stuff about Phantom Blade Zero for a couple of years now. I want to say that 2 Summer Games Fests ago, they showed it off. It's one of those games that have people thinking, is this real? Like, it looks really cool, but is it real? Like, is this the actual combat or a cutscene, or am I just button mashing, or is it real time? Bottom line is that it looks really, really cool. But what's not cool is that, well, it's not gonna be on Xbox when it launches. It's gonna be a year exclusivity on PlayStation 5. And then once that's over, who knows how long it'll take to come on over to Xbox. We've been in the situation before, like with, I was gonna say Wolong Fallen Dynasty, but not Wolong. I'm thinking Black Myth Wukong. They both, there's a W in there, close enough. There's a Wu. And at this point, you can't blame lesser powered hardware, because Xbox Game Studios has shown off what can be possible on even something as low as the Series S. And it's one thing for them to be skipping Xbox consoles, the X and the S, but it's another thing for these games not to be available in the Xbox app for PC. If major games keep doing this, that's going to be a huge blow to what Xbox is trying to do right now, transition more into PC gaming, drive more traffic to the Xbox PC app. Technically, you can kind of work your way around this if the game launches on Steam. A big draw of the Xbox Ally X and Project Magnus is obviously the ability to access different launchers and storefronts. Here's the problem though, is that at least with the Xbox Ally X, when you launch a game through the Xbox app, everything's fine and dandy 90% of the time. But if you have to use another storefront like Steam, it's not as smooth. got a fair bit of jank to it, especially if that game requires another launcher. I'm thinking something like Baldur's Gate 3, opening up the Larian launcher or whatever. And while it's cool that my Steam games will show up in my Xbox library, I'm able technically to launch them directly from the Xbox PC app, it's not nearly as good. I mean, first of all, like, the landing page is sparse compared to games that you launch through the Xbox app. It just says, like, do you want to launch this game or not, pretty much. It's slower, it's clunkier. They need a more unified experience that doesn't require you to open a billion applications in order to launch something that's not in the Xbox store. And it again has me wondering, like, why don't they have that more unified experience? Why are we insisting on Windows being the thing? Why not like a Windows gaming OS, Xbox OS that mimics Steam OS, or even like a dashboard you would find on the Switch 2? Those improvements are coming though, and they've already come a long way in the short amount of time between the Xbox Allies launching and now. I'm still really looking forward to the future of Xbox, especially seeing what these new Xboxes, whether they're first-party ones like Project Magnus or partner devices like with the Xbox Ally, how games are gonna look, how they're gonna run, all the different cool techniques that they'll be able to mess around with, like ray tracing, path tracing, and how it's going to affect future Xbox titles. We've seen a glimpse of it this generation with games like Hellblade 2 and, of course, Doom: The Dark Ages. It's cool because it really seems like they're giving us that premium option. Like, okay, if you are serious about, you know, you want your games to look good, you want them to run well, and you're willing to shell out the extra cash, boom, we got you with Project Magnus. If you're not, well, we're still going to be supporting the Xbox Series X and S. We're making strides in cloud gaming. They could have a truly versatile, potent lineup at whatever price point that you want to enter it at, whether it's a $1,000 Xbox console or, hey, I just want to play, you know, cloud games for free on that ad-supported tier. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff I got to talk about today. If you made it this far into the video, consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.